Hi, my name is Luana. I'm going to be a former RHS writing tutor pretty soon, actually. I'm graduating 2017, and I took the Writing Center class last semester of my senior year, fourth block. So it's kind of like the end of everything. And it's been a pretty interesting experience, having different types of students all the time and having everybody just be done with everything, you yourself, teachers, students, just everyone being done. And so, being a writing center tutor has had its, difficult times. There has been some challenges that, you kind of just have to face. You just kind of have to go through it. And no matter how much training you get, you're just never going to know how to deal with it until you put it on the spot. So, you are going to get kids that are resistant, they're rude, they don't want to do anything. You're also going to get kids that are already up there, they're doing all their work, they got the ball rolling. You're there to guide them in certain, like, ideas per se, but they pretty much can handle themselves. And then you got the kids that, they try and I mean, I don't know how else to put it, but their effort is there. They're like they already have like their work ethic. Everything is already there. They just need guidance from the tutors to help them get to a place where, the teachers might want them to be, or maybe they see themselves being, but they just can't perform it in words. So they need you to help them with that to make it better. And so, all of these kids, even though they do have their differences, they all do have one important common similarity, and it's something that tutors don't really see or realize. And I really want to stress this now for future tutors, for you to realize, because this common similarity that tutors don't see with all of these kids, I feel like is the reason as to why there's such a divide between tutor and student relationship, or potential student and tutor relationship. And that is, all of these kids have something important in their lives. The ones that are already academically privileged, school is number one or number two. It's already high up on their list. They're good to go. Students are in the middle. They have other things in their life. School might be in their list, but just not at the top. And they just can't be focused on it too much all the time. And the ones that you get that, are resistant and they're cold and they just don't put any work ethic with anything, those are the kids that, school isn't even on their list, let alone on the last of their list. It's a lot of these kids, you come to find out through um, how they write, what they write, or even if you do have the chance to get to know these kids, they do go through some very extremely terrible things in their lives, and school is just not part of their survival. They're working, they're tired of working, or they, come from a broken home, they're taking care of things, they went through trauma, all these other things. You really don't see these. And, I feel like with already that being said, any type of connection that you might try to have with a student or a group of students, it's going to be easier just because you already have that realization engraved inside of you, thinking that, every student is different, every experience is going to be different, every struggle is going to be different, because, not all AP kids are going to be hardworking. Not all smart kids are going to take AP classes. Not all smart kids are going to actually be doing their work and actually caring. Not all CP kids are, potheads. Not all CP kids don't care about anything. Not all CP kids are not smart. Not all ELL kids can't speak English. Not all ELL kids can't understand English. Not all ELL kids don't want to do anything. It's everyone's different. Everything is different. And once you stop, categorizing people and, seeing each person as an individual and like what they offer, how their strengths and their weaknesses are, you are going to build a better relationship with that student, and you're going to start just naturally, you're just going to become more caring and sympathetic, because you're not you don't have like this background of, information about a group or type of student. You're getting to know them for the first time. And with that, you don't want to come out as being rude or whatever. You just come out more just naturally, caring, sympathetic, nice. And because of that, these students tend to open up more. They tend to, eventually they might be resistant, but they do eventually get to you and they do eventually accept you there. Like, not, and also don't expect too much. Like, they might, you might want them to accept you to help them, but they probably, the farthest that they'll go is just accept that that your existence is next to them. And that is as far as you might go sometimes, and that is as far as it'll ever go. And that is better than nothing, because that can at least get you somewhere, for them to, like, you say hi and they'll say, eh, you know. And to be honest, I wish somebody told me that before, or somebody realized that before, because I had to go through that by myself, like learn through that myself. And I don't know, it was kind of difficult, because I ended up figuring that out, or realizing that towards the end of the semester, and I kind of wish I didn't, just because I feel like all those other kids before, just like I wanted to give them a second chance, or I wanted to give myself a second chance to be better to them, or as a person or as a tutor, because I did have some trouble in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie, I am very blunt. I'm a very blunt person. I tell it as it is. I don't, beat around the bushes. That's not who I am. I'm very good with constructive criticism. I generally feel like when someone is nice to me, when they're trying to help me, I feel like they're, I don't know, belittling me, and like, I don't know, demeaning me in a way, saying, like, I don't know, I feel like they're low key making me feel like I'm stupid, just because, like, oh, like, I feel bad for you, I pity you, so I'm just gonna be nice to not hurt your feelings. That's how I feel, and I feel like constructive criticism is just always the way to go. Um, and that's completely the complete opposite as to the type of attitude you gotta have for the writing side. You gotta be nice all the time. You can't have a fit, you can't have an attitude, you just gotta have a smile and, be like, it's okay, you're doing great. Or, I like the fact that you didn't have a run on sentence when their entire essay is like, that's the type of attitude that you gotta have. And it's hard. For me, it was really hard in the beginning, but eventually I got to master it. And it really took me far, to be honest. Like, you will be surprised how, a little comment like that, even if their essay is complete crap, you'll be so, like, I don't know, like, so surprised at how a little tiny little thing could be like, oh my god, my teacher said I had to start over and just have a brand new idea, but you said that I put a comma in correctly in this one spot. I feel like I can continue. It really boosts up somebody's energy. And another thing that I learned is actually outside of training, to be honest. And it was something I learned from another tutor, and I just observed him while he was tutoring for me to actually understand. And I actually did talk to him about it, because I was having difficult connecting with, kids at the CP level, because I didn't, every experience I had was like they were being resistant. They didn't want to be with me, or I just felt like I was doing something wrong. But I also realized it was like a trend with all the other tutors besides him, besides this one kid. So I asked him, and he said, it's it's the fact that these students, it's usually like lower honors CP kids that are like that, and that's usually the type of kids that we get all the time. It's like a lot of them, it's these students, like, they see you as a writing tutor, but they don't see you as a person. They don't see you as a student. They don't see you as, like a potential friend or someone they could connect to or trust. They just see you as like the teacher, and then like you're right here, and then they're like here. So like I feel like there's this some type of feeling of authority, and just the fact that a writing tutor is like above the student. And it's when you go to someone, it's just how your body language is, how you speak, what you like, the words you say, how your accent is. A lot of the times, it's things like that that really make the difference. And I didn't really get that, just because I was like, that's ridiculous. Like, how does that makes no sense. I'm trying to help you. Why is the way I talk or how I look or how I move my body or whatever make a difference? And then like I tried it out. I realized, and I saw him do it, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand it now. So basically, what I found out was that, once you kind of like right now, for example, I'm like up, like my body is kind of just up or whatever. I'm talking kind of like normally, regular basic conversation. And then I don't really want to feel like I'm really lowering myself with anyone. I'm just trying to connect. There's just type of people you got to know your audience, and there's people, specific types of people that you just got to know how to connect. So there was a student that I tutored, and I didn't like go straight to her. I was kind of, I was going around the room first, and I was kind of also observing her, just to like, I don't know, like she just caught like my attention for some reason, sometimes throughout like the period. So like I was just like seeing how she is, how she acted, how she talked with her friends and things like that. I was like, oh. So while I was doing that, when I ended up coming up to her, I wasn't like what you see now. I sat down, I kind of sat like that, and then, I started talking to her, and she was like, I said, hey, and she was like, hi. And I was like, what's up? And she was like, nothing. I was like, alright, so what type of paper you writing? And then she was like, I'm writing this paper for class. And I was like, alright, so what's it about? Can you tell me what's it about? She was like, alright, well, it's about, yada yada yada. And I was like, alright, cool. So can you tell me like what you know about it or whatever? And she was like, alright, well, I didn't really pay attention, to be honest, in class. I don't really care. I'm just trying to get this done with. I just want to get out. And I was like, alright, too. Well, I mean, I'm a senior. You don't think I wanna? You think I wanna be here? Like, I don't want to be here. I want to get out. And she was like, oh, well, you can get out. I'm still like a sophomore, or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but I still got school. I got college. Like, I'm not trying to pay $30,000 a year for that. Like, nuh-uh. She was like, okay, well, you can't. And it just kept going and going and going like that. And once that happened, I was able to connect with the student. And because of that, like, I just started using that throughout like the entire like tutoring experience that I had, just really trying to see your audience, how they are, and how these, I feel like every individual student is like that. Obviously, not everyone's going to be like her, but then there are kids that aren't going to be like her. There are kids that they're a little more chill, they're a little more, or they're more like stiff, or they're more focused, or they're more like distracted, and you just kind of have to, like, every kid is different. And so you just kind of have to know your audience, you kind of have to know who you're dealing with, and with that you kind of shape who you are, because you don't have to go up to them and start like talking to them about the assignment. Like, you have to earn their trust first before you can do anything with them, because they're not going to talk to you about an assignment if they don't like you. So you have to earn their trust, and by doing so, you can get anything done. And also another thing that you're probably gonna go through is that a lot of the times the kids aren't the problem, it's the teacher. And I'm not trying to diss out anybody. I'm not trying to rash anyone out or shout anybody out, for that matter. But there are gonna be times where you're gonna like go through an assignment, or the teacher's gonna explain, and then after the teacher leaves, you kind of break off with the other tutors, and you be like, what? Like, do you know what? I don't know what. But it's things like that, and you just kind of like have to build up the courage to just ask for clarification, or you know ask for the other students, like, do you have it? Because most of the time, if you don't know, kids probably don't know either. um and that's something I had to go through a lot too. But no matter what happens, you can't be like, you're doing this wrong to the teacher. You can't talk bad about the teacher in front of the kids. Another thing that sucks about like my tutoring experience that I really hate is the fact that I never really got any crazy stories to tell. I have other tutors that they've had crazy experiences, like, the whole gender sexuality thing, where they had to write a whole research paper and somebody said, like, that wasn't real. Another one was something that, the solution to racism is reverse racism, things like that. And these conversations that the tutors have with these like students, and it's just like, what? Like, I never got to have one of those, and I'm like so upset. Like, I just got the normal ones. Like, it was like, okay, I guess I'll have, you be polite to me, or I'd rather have someone be like a straight up like, nah,